Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. Let's get started. Tonight we are continuing to track news that broke early this afternoon. At least one person was killed and more than 20 others shot during a parade celebrating the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl victory. The videos from the parade route today are chaotic, showing a lot of confusion and terror from people who thought at first they were hearing fireworks. Kansas City officials say they have detained 3 people as they investigate the mass shooting. Brian Locke reports tonight.
Kansas City, Missouri's day of celebration turned deadly in a split second.
There were shots fired on the west side of Union Station. Immediately, officers responded to the area, took 2 people into custody, and also immediately rendered life-sustaining aid to those victims.
Tiffany Knoll says she was standing shoulder to shoulder with spectators at the Chiefs Super Bowl victory parade when shots rang out.
But I heard a pop, and then you just heard screaming, and everybody in front of me just started running, and I started yelling, "What's going on? What's going on?" And a woman yelled, "They're shooting! They're shooting!" Witnesses describe how terrified fans began to run for cover.
I was just telling everybody to get down, and then like get out the way, and the officers were coming around.
Authorities say several gunshot victims sustained life-threatening injuries.
Parades, rallies, schools, movies, it seems like almost nothing is safe.
Kansas City Mayor Quinton Lucas has joined with mayors across the country in calling for new laws to curb gun violence, including mandating universal background checks.
I'm angry at what happened today. The people who came to this celebration should expect a safe environment.
Law enforcement sources tell CBS News there is no evidence that Wednesday's mass shooting was an act of terrorism. Brian Locke, CBS News, Kansas City.
Meantime, closer to home, the man accused of murdering a 3-year-old boy faced a judge this afternoon. Police say John Jones fled Spokane after the boy's mother found the boy's body. KREM 2's Kyle Simchuk is learning more about the case and the role that Las Vegas police had in capturing the suspected killer. Kyle?
Well, yeah, Mark, court documents show Jones is dating the child's mother and was alone with the 3-year-old hours before he was found not breathing and cold to the touch.
Your Honor, Mr. John Jones.
Wearing a yellow jumpsuit, John Jones appeared in Spokane District Court Wednesday, charged with second-degree murder. The 38-year-old was arrested in Las Vegas February 1st, the day after he allegedly killed his girlfriend's 3-year-old son. The mother called 911 January 31st after finding her son bleeding from the mouth and unresponsive. Paramedics say the child was cold to the touch when they tried to revive him. Police found the boy on the basement floor of the family home near North Ash and West Central Avenue. According to court documents, the boy's mother told police that Jones picked them up from the boy's daycare, where she also works, around 3 that day. He dropped her off at Walmart to shop for groceries while he took the 3-year-old to get McDonald's. They made it home a few hours later, and the mom told police she saw her son sleeping in his car seat and didn't notice anything odd. She took the 3-year-old inside, and Jones left to run an errand in her minivan and never came home. The mom later called 911 after finding the 3-year-old unresponsive. She also called Jones and asked, quote, "What did you do?" Court documents say Jones denied hurting the child, and during one phone call, police heard him on speakerphone saying, quote, "I am gone, I am gone." Police say Jones fled 1,000 miles away to Las Vegas, a 15-hour drive from Spokane. He was picked up the next day by Las Vegas police. Now back in Spokane, prosecutors read off his criminal history as Jones appeared in court.
Robbery in the 2nd degree, assault in the 2nd degree, assault in the 3rd degree, harassment.
Police believe Jones killed the boy while his girlfriend shopped for groceries. Authorities interviewed daycare workers who said the child was fine when he left that day. During the autopsy, a medical examiner discovered the 3-year-old had extreme internal bleeding, 2 cracked ribs, and bruises all over his body. Doctors likened the trauma to that of a serious car crash or from a 2- to 3-story fall.
And Jones declined our request for a jailhouse interview tonight. His bond is set at $1 million. In the studio, Kyle Simchuk, KREM 2 News.
All right, Kyle, thank you very much. And now to our night beat with a quick look at the day's top stories. We now know the identities of 2 people killed in separate Spokane police shootings over the past several days. The Spokane County Medical Examiner identified 35-year-old Oscar Venegas as the man killed by police in downtown Spokane outside the STA Plaza after they say he was threatening people with a knife. He was taken to the hospital, but the medical examiner says he died from gunshot wounds. And just into our newsroom, Spokane police have released the names of the officers involved in a shooting Monday morning that killed a man in North Spokane. Police responded to a call from a woman who said a man was threatening her with a gun. She later told dispatchers that she'd been shot and that suspect was still in the house. When officers arrived, they say the man, Eric Sid, shot at them. The 3 officers are now on administrative leave. Meantime, Spokane Mayor Lisa Brown spoke today addressing public safety and concerns and the search for new police and fire chiefs. Just this afternoon, we learned that 17 SPD officers are on administrative leave from those 3 shootings. That accounts for fewer than 5% of the city's total force of more than 250 officers. Interim Chief Justin Lundgren says the department has not had trouble reaching minimum safe staffing.
But once we reach a certain threshold, then we're going to call in extra officers on overtime to backfill. And so we have had to call in some officers, but we have not had any problems making staffing.
The mayor also said the city is launching a community safety work group. City leaders and public safety experts will meet monthly to tackle issues like increased domestic violence, substance abuse, and mental health. And that was your Night Beat. To learn more about any of these stories, just head to our website. That's KREM.com. All right, switching gears to talk weather. Today's sunshine offering a bit of a false hopes, perhaps, as Spokane sits on the brink of some more snow. Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Legoo to find out when that snow hits us here in Spokane. Jeremy?
Well, Mark, we've got a lot working for us to get snow. Dew point still quite cold, 16. Temperature sits at 32. As that snow starts falling, we'll get a little evaporative cooling. We'll cool the atmosphere as the snow comes down. We have winter weather advisories in place. Basically, from the Palouse up into the mountains of North Idaho and over the Cascades, we're expecting enough snow to have impacts on tomorrow. Right now, that snow is already falling in places like Pullman and Moscow and creeping its way off to the north. How does this work out for us? Well, it looks like we just kind of get these stray light showers overnight. You wake up to a dusting early tomorrow. But then as we move through the day, look how this goes down. We get our push of snow. That kind of arrives middle of the day now. Everything is looking a little bit slower. This is very typical of a storm coming in from this direction. And then we kind of hang on to that snow through tomorrow afternoon and evening, and then it moves out tomorrow night, clearing out and giving us clear skies by Friday. So all said and done, about an inch. Seriously, it does look like we get a decent amount during the day tomorrow, and then the sun comes back, we dry out, but we've got some cold mornings as we head into the weekend.
All right, sounds good. Jeremy will check back in with you later in the broadcast. Well, now to an update on last night's special election. Spokane Public Schools had 2 propositions on the ballot equaling close to $300 million. So let's take a look at the latest results. First is the 3-year operational levy that goes towards educational programs. Right now, it is passing with 55% of the votes. Levies only need a simple majority to pass. Now to the $200 million bond that is currently failing. Bonds need a super majority of 60%, and right now it only has 55% of the votes. Our BOOMTOWN series continues this week with all new stories looking at growth in the inland Northwest. Tomorrow we focus on the growing industry in Coeur d'Alene. For the past year, the city of Coeur d'Alene has used a data collecting company to crack down on the growing number of short-term rentals in the area. The city says they are doing this in order to manage the number of short-term rentals in the city. But some rental owners say work by the company the city hired has not made a difference yet.
It was a waste of money. I don't think it accomplished even what they thought it was going to, and it certainly didn't help non-STR homeowners, and it certainly didn't help STR owners at all.
KREM 2's Nathan Hyun sat down with a city leader and property owners about the increased regulations. That story coming up on Up with KREM tomorrow. And that was your KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where you get more news in less time. But